The best two reactions were two fainted people. That makes us really proud as horror film directors if people faint.
Hi, I'm Kim Taylor-Bennett and welcome to Vice Talks Film. Today I'm joined by Austrian directors Veronika, Franz and Severin, Fiala, and we're going to be talking about one of the creepiest films I've seen in a long time, Goodnight Mommy.
Mama? Ist so anders. Ja, wie würdest du dich fühlen, wenn du von so einer Operation zurückkommst? Wer ist das? Du bist nicht unsere Mama. Bitte komm zurück, Mama. Ich mache alles. Jetzt kann sie uns nicht mehr auseinanderhalten. Guten Abend, gute Nacht, nie
Veronika, Severin, thanks so much for joining us today. So you guys actually met many, many years ago when you were the babysitter for Veronika's children. Is that right?
Still
You're well informed.
I am. So did you very early on recognize that Severin was going to be a real film buff?
Of course.
Yeah.
I knew it when I saw him. No. The thing was that actually he came with some stuff he wrote on films because he liked to see films. I was a film journalist by then, and so he kind of showed me and said, okay, I wrote something about films. Would you like to read it? And so it kind of, I got to know him. And yeah, then he kind of babysitted my my older son.
Yeah.
You were 14, right? You
Yeah.
were,
Yes.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and he lived in the countryside. I lived in Vienna, so he kind of knew all the films of his video store in the countryside. So when he came and babysitted my child, I would pay him not in cash, but in VHS cassettes.
Nice.
Because he didn't want to get any money. He just wanted to have film food.
Yeah, so that's cheaper for you, and it all worked out.
Yeah. But that's also how it started, that we would watch films together. So and kind of realize that we share a vision of cinema, or what we love or like in cinema.
And let's talk about the kind of kernel of inspiration for this script. It actually came out of a reality show,
Yes.
is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I think you have it in the States. I'm sure you have it in the States too. Are these reality shows about women getting beauty operation and being separated from their families for weeks and months. These are women mostly 40 plus who are not beautiful enough, speaking of society standards. So after, they get their hair done and their teeth and they get new clothes, blah, blah, blah. And after like 2 months, they are reunited with their families and there is this magic red carpet moment. And and on one side there is the new mother and on the other side there is the husband and the family is waiting for her. And if you look at in the children's eyes, you can see no joy, but irritation, because the woman who appears looks completely different than the mother they knew. And we even had one. It was even happened once that a girl would grab her father's arm and said, oh, "This is not my mom."
Gosh.
So that was kind of the beginning. That was which inspired us to kind of take this idea of mom is coming home, but looking strange, behaving strange. What would happen if there are more kind of reasons why children would doubt that's her mother? So what would kind of happen?
One of the things that made this film really scary was the fact that it was from the perspective of the children. So you really felt much more invested in it.
Actually, it was not that easy, because that way we could not tell so much about the mother or the woman coming home, because it was only from the perspective of the children. So, but we like to have this kind of nightmarish tone to the film, and this kind of fairy tale atmosphere in the beginning.
It's like we asked ourselves how children
would see the world.
Yeah, and we think that like lots of like lights and shadows and nightmares and dreams and whatever like melt into each other more easily than in like a grown-up perspective or perception of the world. So it's all part of their reality.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to casting the kids, it was a pretty easy process. You just went to a bunch of Austrian schools and said,
yes,
who's got twins?
Yes.
And then when you had them all gathered there en masse, did you have them en masse?
Yeah, like in larger groups, like having 20 pairs of twins sitting there, which
that
is
must
scary.
have been creepy, yeah.
That's creepy,
actually more creepy than the film.
And actually, the creepiest twins, they were like 13, but they were like that much taller than me, and they had like beards, and like looking down on me, that was scary actually.
You're like, it's not quite what we're looking for.
Yeah, because they were like a lot taller than the actress, so.
Yeah. What was it about these two that drew you to them? Their fragility?
Yeah, they were
beauty
actually
too.
Looking for twins that were very fragile and very beautiful, and that you would love and care for just from the first like look you get of them. And then, of course, in the course of the film, they have to show another side, and they have to maybe show their abysses, and they have to get like physically stronger or stuff like that. And we felt those two had it.
Yeah, and we kind of found 3 pairs of twins we really liked, and they were very talented all together. And we had a last casting round where we kind of tied the actress to a chair, like you would sit there, we would tie you.
Okay.
And then we would tell the children that this woman has kidnapped their mother, and they have to find out now where their mother is. And they can do whatever they want to, they just have to find out where the mother is. So 2 pairs would circle around and shout at her, and where's our mom? Tell us.
No,
where's
they
mom?
were not
yeah, that
where's
she
our mom.
did.
No,
and
she did,
the 3rd pair, which turned out to be our twin pair, kind of instantly grabbed the pen and pinched into the arm of the actress, which is a very courageous act to do, because as a child, it's a casting situation. This is an actress, and they were very nervous, but they kind of
were courageous enough to do that. And that's the thing you have to look for, because filmmaking with big team, it's very intimidating. So we had to find really courageous, brave children.
Mm-hmm. And the rest was luck, because you can't, it was a hard process to decide, but you never know how will they be really on set. That's also, you have to have luck. Yeah. And those two, they are really
lucky.
Yeah.
Really, really lucky.
Cinema has a rich history of twins as creepy characters, whether it's David Cronenberg.
We love them all.
Yeah, you love them all. Or that Sisters one that Brian De Palma did. What is it about twins that's so fascinating and unsettling?
For us, actually, it's like the perfect image to illustrate something our film is talking about, because we think our film is also about the question of identity and who makes you the person other people believe you are. Mm-hmm. And is this fixed, or can this change due to circumstances changing? So that's a question we wanted to ask, and the children like looking completely the same, but being obviously different persons is another image illustrating this question of identity.
Yeah, because it's not only, I think, about identity, but also about surfaces and what's underneath that. So it's about masks and faces you don't know actually what's behind. You can have two like faces which look alike, but the persons behind that faces are completely different personalities.
So it wasn't so much like this horror iconographic twin thing,
Yes.
but like this identity thing. But we love all the horror films with twins.
I love that you didn't tell them what was going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, it's really, I think that's really crucial to it, because if the children would know all the story, they lose interest. And we also shot it in sequence and like chronologically. That the children would like grow into the story, and we only told them the basic situation, and then from day by day they got to know a little more and a little more. So it was kind of like a crime game where they tried to find out what happened to our mother. So they were interested till the last day of shooting because they wanted to know how it's gonna go to end. And they even asked like the cinematographer and other people on the set, and they tried to find out, is this the mother? Isn't she the mother? So they were really interested, which is the most important part. If they lose interest, it's going to be
Actually,
boring.
we had a hard time to kind of
Keep
not
it
revealing,
secret,
to keep it secret, not
They're-
revealing the end of the story.
Because they're quite intelligent and had means to
Inquisitive.
find out everything.
Did they come to you and talk about the finale of the film?
No, they didn't actually.
We managed to
Yeah.
keep it secret.
And they didn't see the whole film. We let the parents decide until they said only the first hour, and then they had to leave, even at the premiere, which was kind of sad. But we think it's a good thing, actually, because they have been there every day of shooting, but I think it's completely different if you see a film. If you see a film, it draws you into it, and it's kind of really violent and really terrifying. But making those violent scenes wasn't terrifying at all, so we didn't have to prepare the children for that. It's just like, it looks really ridiculous if you shoot scenes like that. It's like 10 people standing around watching, and the children like maybe only shaking a camera and making "Whoa." So it looks really stupid.
Yeah.
But that's the magic of cinema, that it's transformed into something terrifying. But I think making that film didn't harm the children at all, because it didn't feel violent, and they didn't feel that they had to be violent to like people they like. They never had the feeling.
We kind of had an
Cockroach expert on the set.
You did?
yes.
Yeah, of course.
The cockroaches also were for us a symbol for these surfaces and what's
Crawling underneath.
What's crawling
Yeah.
underneath.
And he told us they are everywhere. I mean, there is no beautiful hotel, no perfect restaurant where not under every shiny surface there are cockroaches crawling. You just have to know where to find them, and they are everywhere. And we live with them. So for us, it was kind of, they're here. I'm sure.
I'm not into
I'm
this
looking-
revelation, I have to say.
You don't have to look if you don't want, but we want to
Okay.
look, and we want to find all the cockroaches that every family has buried under
Yes.
their
So that
beautiful
families are
surfaces.
full of cockroaches. That's
Yeah.
for sure. One of the creepiest, or just like grotesque moments in the film is when the cockroach does climb into her mouth and she chomps on that.
Yeah, you know, the actors rehearsed hard to make that happen in real life. So she had a cockroach at home, preparing for that scene, and she kind of the cockroach get used to. Yeah, she put it in her mouth. She tried to.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. But while shooting the cockroach, his
go in
name
the
was Nermal or
Nermal,
Nermal.
yeah.
She even
She named it.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
named
she
it.
named
Okay.
So he
course.
he wasn't trained enough, so he would crawl over her face. But then he
Everywhere,
kind of he
The
changed direction.
The last bit is CGI because the cockroach wouldn't go all the way in the mouth.
Yeah.
It wouldn't go in her mouth.
No,
Oh.
but she tried. And like all the team members like made bets for a lot of money who could take the cockroach in the mouth. And like a friend of mine, he won 50 euros for putting the cockroach
How
in
many
the mouth.
euros?
50.
50, wow.
I think it's still somewhere on YouTube, the lightning technician.
Wow.
But the children loved them.
Really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gave them like
Two,
also
to
for
prepare.
preparation. They had two, and they named them Rocky and Rambo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're just like little pets for them,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're just, yeah. Let's talk about some of the reactions that it's been having so far. You know, now people are posting up reaction videos to even just the trailer on YouTube.
That's crazy.
And
We were surprised.
terror faces. But then also in the screenings, you guys have had quite strong reactions to the film.
The best two reactions were two fainted people. That makes us really proud as horror film directors if people faint.
I bet.
Yeah, they were like, it was in Thessaloniki, was the first one at the film festival, and we were like, wanted to get in the cinema for the Q&A, and there was a guy lying in front of the cinema and people standing around him, and Veronika
I was so shocked. I was like, okay, Severin, you are with the Red Cross. You go there.
You go there and see, I don't want to see somebody dying right now. I went up and it was just like we asked him afterwards, it wasn't because of our movie, was it? I mean, and he was like, yes, because it was too much
so
and he wanted
tense.
to run out and then he collapsed.
Wow.
But then, you know, he came up and said, but now I really want to know how it ended, because what was it
missed the
about?
ending.
What was the end? And then we told him, then he was kind of
Yeah, it was
happy.
nice. Mm.
Yeah. Again.
It's quite a difficult, I mean, this film cannot be contained by just saying, oh, it's a scary movie. There's obviously lots of different threads to it, but it is quite a hard...
We're fine with. It's a
You're
scary
fine with
movie.
It's a scary movie, okay. But it's quite hard to make a sophisticated scary movie these days. But you guys have nailed it, I think. But do you think there's still room in the genre to kind of push boundaries? And I mean, apart from the piece that you guys just did.
Yeah, there are so many things people don't want to talk and think about, and there are so many taboos still left in society, which is kind of amazing, because you would think that today everyone's so open-minded, we can talk about everything, but that's not true actually. And our film talks about family and motherhood, and we're kind of astonished how many shocked reactions we get to the film. We thought, okay, that's still a taboo, obviously, and you aren't allowed to talk about it. So there's still room for many great horror films yet to come.
And what are you guys working on next? You guys are working together again, I hope.
So actually, we collected really a lot of ideas and have now 5 treatments, we call it.
Is it going to be a scary film?
It will.
I mean,
Scary
it's
it will
scary.
be.
I mean, it's not all pure horror, but it's pure horror. I mean,
It's yeah.
Oh, good.
It's
That makes me
historical
very
horror
happy.
and, yeah.
Yeah, I want another terrifying film from you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for making it. I enjoyed it immensely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.